This Christmas, millions of working class people all across Europe will be suffering the appalling effects of vicious cuts and austerity measures. The crisis of capitalism bites hard. The rich ruling elite of the European Union has demanded that social security as we know it be transformed totally in favour of the ruling class. In Ireland, poverty, homelessness and suicide has increased dramatically. Austerity measures totaling €25 million and the intervention of the Troika has exacerbated a situation in which capitalism is in fierce crisis. The budget introduced in December by the coalition government has exacerbated the situation in which tens of thousands of working people are suffering. The austerity has continued year after year. When last year the budget cuts targeted spending cuts of €3.6 billion for 2012, we marched and we protested, but the working class, as the most exploited class in capitalist society, continues to suffer the brunt of the cutbacks. But more and more working people are beginning to question the very system itself. It is only when we rise as a class and shake off the shackles of capitalism will the rule of a tiny privileged elite be shaken to the core. It is only when we confront capitalism and those who, through their greed and criminal financial dealings, has brought us to the brink of impoverishment, will workers free themselves from poverty and want. Coalition government maintain they are helping the economy to recover. As with the measures being implemented by the governments in Athens, Lisbon and Madrid, the only growth they are concerned with is the wealth of the super rich. While the banks and the speculators continue to receive billions from public funds, this parasitic layer is using the economic crisis it created to carry through a social counter-revolution. Its aim is to reduce the conditions of workers to the levels comparable to China and India. The mood among working people and youth in Ireland is no less angry and combative as the mood among workers on the streets of Athens or Cairo. But just as in Athens or Cairo, we are faced with a corrupt and anti-democratic setup overseen by parties of the right and establishment left who essentially want to preserve capitalism. The left bloc and DAIL, although constantly making speeches attacking austerity, are moving closer to accepting all the institutions of capitalism and its financial logic, as indeed as the nationalists of Sinn Féin have done. At no time has the United Left Alliance called for an independent working class struggle against capitalism and its financial system. In fact, the parliamentary policies of the ULA are very much the same policies as the trade union leadership. Both the ULA and the trade union leadership propagate the idea that capitalism can be regulated and the vicious attacks by the ruling elite softened by negotiation. Members of the ULA have in fact met the Troika on several occasions for talks about the implementation of cuts. On the pretext of representing ordinary people, they meet with the Troika regularly to discuss how our economy can best forge ahead. No mention is made of the need for a working class to break with the phony debates in Parliament on saving a decaying system. No statement is made on the need for working people to organise for dismantling capitalism. In fact, by meeting the Troika, they cement the idea that the only way forward for the working class is to play ball with the representatives of the ruling elite, which are their masters. When the unions negotiated this Crow-Park agreement, it enabled public expenditure to be slashed by at least 1.5 million each year since 2010, which has led to a sharp decline in workers' living standards. The unions agreed to a strike ban and to a hiring freeze, and they helped eliminate 37,000 jobs from the public sector. The ruling elite are urging that cuts go further. The Irish Independent editorialised in response to the announcement of further talks between the unions and the government. The Independent said, present day levels are unaffordable and should never have been agreed in the first place. It may be possible to reverse, it may be not be possible to reverse them fully, but they must be consigned to history. By agreeing to participate in a fresh round of talks, the trade unions have shown once again their determination to impose the full burden of the crisis on working people. The successor to Croke Park will seek to slash at least another $1 billion from public sector budgets. As the situation deteriorates for millions of working people, protest campaign after protest campaign, divorced from any reference as to the need for a unified struggle against capitalism and the ruling elite, will lead to defeat and moralisation. Each meeting of the United Left Alliance with the Troper, who are representatives of the European ruling elite, leads to defeat and demoralisation. It is not simply a question of trade union leaders dropping their support for the Labour Party and switching to support to some other establishment left politicians. It is questions of uniting now for a struggle against capitalism and rejecting pro-capitalist solutions. The call must be now to reject the EU, strike against austerity, reject union sellouts and no talks with the Troika, fight for international solidarity across Europe to challenge the power of the ruling elite. It is time to fight for a worker state in Ireland as part of an international struggle for socialism.